Hey everyone, it's Sam. I'm here again from NATP. I work in the marketing department. I run our social media and do some of our email writing, so you may have already heard from me and you didn't even know it. I am back here again with Will Hamilton from Smart Center and Smart Path, which, if you remember from our last broadcast, is an organization that helps firms intelligently scale their client value and grow their profits. Will and his colleagues put on webinars each month to help organizations become as successful as possible and cover topics ranging from implementing a fee increase to onboarding new clients and everything in between. This month's webinar will be covering adjusting your pricing to account for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That's a big buzzword here. We know a lot of what you do is going to revolve around the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act this tax season, and this is an interesting take on another aspect you may not have thought about that it could impact. So before we get started talking about the webinar, Will, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself for those who may have missed our previous Facebook Live videos together?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we've never met, my name is William Hamilton. I'm the co-founder of Smart Center and Smart Path. And I've spent the last 10 years working in the trenches, so to speak, with small firms. And we basically go in there and figure out how to help a firm do some simple and scalable things that will get their firm to whatever level they want to get to. And I'm live on video here from Southern California, where our offices are. And that's who I am.
What's the weather like there today?
You know what, it's actually pretty nice. So I think it's going to be about 70 to 71 and sunny today.
Oh my gosh, I'm in Appleton, Wisconsin, and it's snow and cold. I couldn't tell you, definitely below freezing.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. I am quite jealous. If anyone out there is in Wisconsin right now, shout out to staying warm. Good luck.
Yes.
So let's just dive right in. So I'm going to read off of the landing page that you guys have where people can go to register. We'll get that link a little bit later. But just the description of this webinar. So we've got, you already know the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act will have a major effect on this tax season, but there's one huge aspect many small firms haven't fully addressed yet, and that is how to adjust your pricing for this. So the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is forcing you to answer more questions than ever, work harder to explain the changes, and do additional planning and projections. So just, those are the few bullet points that I have, Will, but can you tell us a little bit more in depth about this webinar and why this is a focus for you guys this month?
Yeah. So one of the things, Sam, that I love about this industry is it's full of professionals who just want to help people. And we're fortunate enough to work with, hundreds of small firm owners every year. And the feedback that we've been getting is all the firm owners are so focused on how to help their clients with these changes, how to make sure their clients don't get really, really negatively impacted, which is great. That's what our focus should be. But we also, as firm owners, have to think about ourselves. How is this going to affect our bottom line? How can we finally not just get squeezed when we go through a change like this, but actually use this change as an opportunity to propel our revenues and propel our growth in the direction that we want it to go. And so we really wanted to talk about this topic, number one, just because of the timeliness of it and how impactful it's going to be this year, but also to make sure that you just don't feel the negative effects of the change. You can actually feel some of the positive effects too, and how to set up your firm so that you can actually realize that on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I mean, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, like I said before, is a hot topic, and it impacts a lot of aspects of the business that, again, you might not even think of with this. So do you find a lot of firms are having trouble adjusting their prices? And if so, why is that?
We do. A lot of small firms right now are struggling to significantly increase fees. When we look at fees over the last 10 years, they have ticked upwards, but we feel like not significantly enough to have the amount of impact that it should have in most firms. And the reason why a lot of people are struggling with it is simply because the industry has changed and the clients have changed. So it's become more complicated and more difficult to do your job the way that you were doing it 10, 20, 30 years ago. But a lot of fee structures are the exact same way that they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. And your clients, today's clients are now looking for a different value, a more unique value than they were looking for in the past. So, the struggle is just trying to get all that together and mesh it and try to figure out how to do it in a way where you're going to be happy, where your clients are going to be happy, and where you're not going to lose business, but you can start growing business at the same time. So, firms out there are struggling with it, but the good news is there's some simple fixes that you can do if you know the right stuff.
I think we kind of touched on this already, but just to reiterate, so the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is going to bring in a lot of extra steps. Why might someone want to adjust their fees this season, taking that into consideration?
Yeah, there's really so many, and it touches on every aspect of your firm when we really look at kind of the logistics of how firms have to deal with it. But there's probably three really big ones. The first one is the fact that a lot of clients aren't going to need to itemize anymore. So if you're getting a lot of your revenue from clients who aren't going to need to itemize, they could easily next season just go use a do-it-yourself software if all we're doing is a simple return. So that's a big one. We need to have something in place so that we can recoup revenue if we do lose clients to DIY, but also then provide a higher value to all of our clients so that we're not at risk of losing people to TurboTax or whatever solution they want to use. That's probably the first one. The second one is if you're charging by the form or by the schedule. Because of the TCJA, there might be a lot of returns that have less forms or less schedules just automatically from the way things are changing. So if that was our structure, then we need to have a way to still charge a premium fee, even if the return has less forms or less schedules. And then the third thing is just the fact that your job is going to be more difficult because you're having to learn, you're having to adjust, you're having to change a lot of things, and you're trying to understand how the changes are going to affect each client, and you need time to plan for that and strategize around that. So your fees need to adjust to give you that time to plan and to strategize and to work with each client a little bit on a deeper level. So there's a lot. Those are probably the top three that we're seeing.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot here about, ways that a tax professional can be so much more than a tax professional and really cement their worth and their value in their clients' everyday lives. So they're more of like a financial resource rather than, just someone they see once a year to do their taxes. So I think this is really interesting and could be really beneficial and kind of translate that philosophy into their daily lives. So that's it sounds like it's going to be really beneficial.
Yeah. Boots on the ground stuff that you can implement right away for sure.
Yeah. So in the summary for this webinar, you mentioned you'll teach attendees to tie fees to the exact things their clients want to pay for. So the increase can be easy to explain. So without giving too much away, can you tell us a little bit more about what this means and maybe an example?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you just touched on it a minute ago, Sam, clients want someone in their life who can be their advocate, someone who can help them achieve whatever that goal is. And so when you look at what clients want in exchange for their fee, they want some value, they want results, they want clarity on how they're going to get those results. And so, if we can tie our tax fee to something other than just the tax return, absolutely the tax return is what we're charging for, and that's the traditional way. But if we can educate our clients and explain to them how we can proactively help them achieve their goals throughout the year, in addition to the tax planning, in addition to IRS notices, in addition to all the other traditional services that we've been doing, when we can package that in the right way and educate the client about how this can be beneficial to them, then we can see a significant increase in fee. And so that's the proven model. It's out there. It's been out there for a long time, but now we're getting to the point in this industry where, okay, it's the smart thing to do, but how do you do it? And that's where we see a lot of small firms struggle is we understand that we want to provide more value. We understand that we need to increase our fees, but how do we actually do it? So, an example is at the end of most tax interviews this year, you're going to have a couple of outcomes. You'll have clients who just got a great big refund, so they're super excited. Or we'll have clients who, because of the changes, maybe they had to owe maybe for the first time, and so they're going to be upset. So how do you use that moment in time, whether it's a really good result that the client experienced or it was a not so good result that the client experienced, how do you use that moment in time to communicate to the client and to have a conversation with them to plant a seed for adjusting your relationship where you can provide more value? And so that's a really unique opportunity that you're going to have this year. Every client is going to somewhat be aware that there's been changes happening. So how do we use that moment in time where they're seeing the result this year to really leverage adjusting the relationship and making the relationship even better? And that's one thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's right on the money there,
Yeah.
so to speak. So will the steps that you guys are going to be outlining work for any size business, or is there a particular size that it might work best for?
Yes, it's really going to work well for any size firm. The good news is most clients, even though some might own a business or some might, just be a W-2 wage earner. At the end of the day, they're all human beings. They all want the same things. They all, have goals. They all want value in return for the fees that they're paying. So regardless of the size firm, regardless of where the firm is geographically, we've seen these approaches work. And it's just aligning the things that we're probably already doing with our best clients to proactively be able to offer it to all of our clients. And so that strategy really works for all size firms.
That's great. That's really great to hear. And sometimes it isn't always the case that what works for a big firm might not work for a small firm. So that's really nice that these steps that you guys have found and have proven to be accurate and not accurate. What word am I looking for?
Valuable and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
Monday.
right,
Would also work for at any size firm. So that's awesome.
yeah.
Um, what else can viewers expect to learn or take away or gain from this upcoming webinar?
Yeah, one of the biggest things we're going to talk about and dive into is how to switch your year from being reactive to where you're just reacting to what clients are throwing on your desk, you're reacting to deadlines, you're reacting to what the IRS is doing. How to switch that model to be more proactive. And the TCGA is a perfect opportunity to start making that switch because it's forcing us to start changing some fundamental things about how we do. And so I think one of the coolest things that people are going to walk away with this training is a understanding of how to use this season to set up your next 5, 10, 15, 20 seasons to be the way you want it to be. So, if we got to knock down the house anyway, and we're going to build a new house, let's build the house that we want to build. And I think this training is going to show you the template for how to create, the exact firm that you want. Moving way into the future. So that will be a really, really fun thing to dive into with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about knocking the house down and then starting. If you have a great foundation, everything else kind of falls into place.
Exactly.
This is part of building that new great foundation that is the changing world that we live in, and we need to adjust and be proactive, like you said, rather than reactive. And it's an exciting time, scary time, but it's nice that there are resources available, like your guys' webinar out there to help with this.
Yeah.
So it's not something that necessarily comes second nature to everyone.
Right. And that's the thing to remember is, massive change is absolutely scary, but with every massive change, there's massive opportunity if we know how to deal with it, if we're proactive, if we're looking at it the right way. So yes, fun times, scary times for sure, but definitely a lot of opportunity for the firms who can make the right adjustments.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked a lot about this exciting opportunity for this webinar. How can someone register for it?
Yeah, so the easiest way, I think if you go to the SmartPath Facebook page, so it's facebook.com/Smart Growth Path. That's going to be our Facebook page, and right there, the top posting is a link, and you can register. It's totally free. It just takes 30 seconds to jump online and put in your email, and you'll be good to go.
Awesome. So I'm also right now, there should be a scrolling bar across the screen. It has the URL to go to. You can just type that in, join.smartgrowthpath.com/TCJA pricing. We'll also post this link under the comments of this video. So if you're watching and are curious, you can just click on the comments and the link to register will be right there also. We should probably tell people when the webinar is. Can you tell us when it is?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know we're going live, so it's going to be on Wednesday at 1 p.m. my time, California time, and then again on Thursday at 11 a.m. California time. So Wednesday and Thursday this week.
Perfect. So December 12th and 13th.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then again, just one more time for people, if someone missed it, how can someone register for this?
So the easiest way, if you just jump on the SmartPath Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Smart Growth Path. And then it's the first posting right there at the top. You can click the link and it'll take you right to it.
Perfect. What if someone, is really interested in this, but they can't make either of those times or dates?
Got it. Yeah, definitely still register. And then what we'll do is for everybody who fully registered through the links here, we'll send out an email after the live dates, and we'll send you the recording as well as the slides, as well as all the download materials. So if you can't make it live, we'll miss you, but definitely still register, and then you can grab all the goodies afterwards.
Perfect. And it's completely free, right? This webinar won't cost anything?
Yep, completely free. It's going to be about 75 minutes long. But yeah, no obligation other than investing a few minutes of your time, and we'll make sure that you get the best return on your investment that we can.
Awesome. That's all I've got. Anything else from your end that you want to add, Will?
No, I just hope that as many people can join. We're going to have fun. Like I said, we're definitely going to make it worth your while if you can invest a little bit over an hour together, and we'll deep dive into some things that you can implement, this season to get you where you want to go.
Awesome. That's all we've got today. We'll see you next time, everyone, and make sure to register for SmartPath's upcoming webinar called How to Adjust Your Pricing to Account for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We'll talk to you soon, Will. Bye.
See you guys.